So does it feel to you that you don't exist outside of that relationship?
A little. I'm trying to find out who I am without us, without being half of us.
Well, the thing that's most interesting about that is you were never as much us as you ever thought that you were. Because, oh, you're going to like this so much. Without meaning to, you know this path of least resistance that we're talking about, finding this vibrational harmony with who you are. That feels like sustaining. It feels like security. It feels like sustenance. It feels like homecoming. It feels like alignment. It is alignment. But when someone is holding you as their object of attention and they are adoring you, that feels like alignment too. So it's easy, without meaning to, replace your reaching for this alignment with your reaching for this alignment. And so you're associating your good feeling with a person when all along that good feeling was because of this alignment that may have been influenced by something that was happening in the conditions. That's why we're wanting to help you all to not continue to be so dependent upon a condition in order to evoke a feeling. We want you to show yourself that you can feel the same security that you felt, that you thought was coming from the relationship. It was never coming from the relationship. It might have been influenced by the relationship or by the moment of the relationship or by something that someone said, but it has always been a misunderstanding. If you think that you are whole because of another person, you have always been misunderstanding that. Do you see what we're getting at? But if you believe that and then that person goes away, then you don't feel whole. We can see how that would trip you up forevermore, and you're always going to be looking for that person or for another person to fill the void that was never filled by that. How can we convince you that the feeling when it feels good is about your alignment with source? That's your path of least resistance. So what you're actually saying to someone when you say, I am so in love with you, what you're actually saying is, I so love how connected with source I am right now. I so love that whatever it is that we've been doing right here and now. Esther said to Jerry one time, you make me so happy. This was early on. This was before Jerry and Esther had met Abraham. And Jerry said, well, babe, it's not my plan to make you happy, but I also don't plan to get in your way. Well, how wise was that? In other words, he had already figured out that his happiness was not dependent upon anyone else. And he didn't want Esther's happiness to be dependent upon him. And he worked pretty hard to make sure that it stayed that way. He did not want her dependent upon him for her happiness. Well, it's nice to have someone in your experience who doesn't want you to become dependent, but most of you do the opposite. Most of you are saying, you need me, right? You need me, right? You need me, right? It's better with me, right? You need me, you need me, you need me, you need me. Well, what you want to say is, no, not really. No, not really. I figured out what unconditional alignment is. I figured out that through the power of my mind and the intentionality of my focus, that I can focus into the true clarity of all that I am. And then I've got the energy that creates worlds flowing through me. And then we can, because law of attraction has put us together, we can rendezvous in this way and this way and this way and this way and this way. But if your happiness is dependent on another person, before very long you will come to resent them. And they will come to resent you because you need to hold them so tight to you for your every need. You see what we're getting at? And that's why in the earlier part of this conversation, when you were talking about how you were feeling, and we wanted to bring you around to realizing that it's not the bringing back the specifics of that. What you want is that feeling of wholeness or that feeling of alignment that you sometimes found inside that relationship. We just want you to know it was not because of that relationship. Better said, maybe it was because of that relationship, but we don't want it to be because of the condition of that relationship, because that is true bondage. And that's what's wrong with things that are wrong with relationships. Don't you feel that? If someone is really needing you to be right there for them, don't you just want to run away from them? because you innately know that this is not for you to do. It's way too big. You're saying to another person, you need to be tuned in, tapped in, turned on at all times. You need to be connected to your inner being, and in that connection you need to always have this energy flowing through you, and I need to have your undivided attention. That's what you're saying. And if you're listening to that, what you want to be saying is, I think I want to go screaming into the woods. Because that's a suffocating thing. You're asking of me something that I, as a human friend and mentor and lover, was never meant to be for you. You see. So when you get hold of this unconditional conversation and you begin to find yourself in alignment and find yourself in alignment even under different conditions than you think you want, then you set yourself free, and now you stand in this place of clarity and alignment and powerful attraction, and the person that comes to you will be that person. Now maybe that person is that person and maybe you're not yet, but as you become that, then maybe that will be the relationship that is the path of least resistance, because you know each other and you do have many strong points of harmony, but you can't make it that before it is that. You heard that clearly.
I did.
This was a really good conversation.
Yeah,
Enough?
thank you so